What's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for coming by and checking us out. Here we are on the High Desert Music Channel Tuesday night show. This is a new one for us, doing Tuesday night. So we generally do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Change it up. Just going to do Tuesday, Friday nights now. 9 o'clock Mountain Time, Tuesday and Friday. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. For those of you guys who've never been here before, High Desert Music Channel. We talk about music, playing music, learning music, listening to music, how music kind of wraps up around your whole world, and the crazy good stuff that you can pull out of music, man, and learn how to play it and listening to it. Don't get me wrong. You know, you get something from listening to music too. We all do. So that's the point of the channel. That's the point of the show. Thanks for coming by tonight. Give me 1 second here, guys. And there we go. Just close the door to keep any noise out. Try to, run a semi-professional show here, sort of. So anyhow, thanks for coming by. Thanks for checking us out. It's Tuesday night. So I've kind of decided I'm not going to try to do, focused, oriented kind of shows, I guess. Like, I'm not going to do the like gear episodes like I was thinking. It's kind of hard to do with one camera, as I've talked about before, and I think maybe more folks might just be interested in talking about music, man. Not necessarily the technical aspects of it so much. Talking about amplifiers that we've all seen. If you play music, you've seen one. I mean, if you got specific questions on one, ask it. If I have an answer, I'll give it to you. But yeah, I think I'm going to just kind of lean into a direction more of just kind of talking about music, and some of the struggles that you go through trying to learn, like what's difficult, what's not difficult, what's keeping you interested, stuff like that, just talking about music. What am I learning this week? I'm still working on that Scorpions tune, bass and guitar both. I'm better at the guitar part than I am the bass part right now. I've played it a lot more on the guitar. Played it a few times last night on electric. Prior to that, I had only played it on the acoustic. So I actually plugged in last night and played played it electric. I like it better on acoustic, that's for sure. I think if I played it a bunch more times, it got the amp kind of set where I really wanted it and was getting the tone out of the amp that I was really looking for. I think I might have liked it a little more, on electric. Obviously every song plays a little different on acoustic than it does electric, and so there's that kind of learning curve too. The guy's got to go back and forth, and especially when you're, as I am, a total beginner, it matters, man. It's the difference playing baseball and softball, kind of. So anyhow, that's one of the tunes. I've been working on that one a lot this week. I still have done the John Denver tune, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Played that several times on the bass. I'm getting better at that one as well. That one is, like I had said before, it's the variance in pick speed and the pattern of. For me, I play with the pick. I don't play with my fingers. For all you new folks that hadn't heard that one before, yes, I'm sacrilege. I break the rules. I play with a pick. Trying to learn how to play with my fingers. That's kind of a. I have played a whole lot lately of acoustic and not much electric. Seems like most of my practice time has been kind of in the mornings, out on the porch, out on the front patio, and pardon me, that generally tends to be acoustic, not electric, and that has been lately what I've been playing a lot of. And so trying to learn how to play with fingers, not already knowing how, but trying to learn how on an acoustic with nowhere to park your thumb. Know where to plant your thumb and lean against to play is pretty difficult. I would imagine if you knew how to play with your fingers pretty well, it wouldn't be that big a deal. Maybe you use your palm to rest. I don't rightly know. I haven't figured that out. And so playing with fingers has kind of taken a back seat, to be honest. And the pick is kind of sticking in there as the way to go for me. I know how most people feel. A lot of people just don't like the fact that a guy plays a pick with a bass with a pick. I don't know. Eventually, I'll get to playing with fingers, which kind of makes me think there is Ibanez has an acoustic bass they make that has like a wooden piece right on top of the sound hole where a guy could park his thumb and would be good for learning fingers. It's far too expensive right now. On the list of stuff that maybe eventually I'll get around to getting one. I think, the finger thing, once I start playing, once it gets cold, when wintertime rolls around and most of my playing now then will roll indoors, I'll try to play a lot more electric and be able to work on my fingers a little bit more over the course of the winter, I'm hoping. But, because that. I know that if I don't practice that and I don't kind of get over that hurdle and that hump and be able to do both, play with fingers and with a pick, your speed is never going to get up there where it could be with the bass. But, at the same time, I watch somebody like Newstead plays with the pick, and that guy's incredible. The guy plays hard, plays fast. And that's kind of the way I play, too. I definitely, to some degree, attack a bass. I come at it pretty hard, pretty heavy-handed. I'm getting a little better with that. I'm certainly getting better with that in a guitar. That was a huge issue for me at the very beginning, not really knowing how to soften up and play a little bit lighter to get the sound and the tone that you're looking for. That's been coming along pretty well, and it's not something I practiced. That's one of those things that I just have kind of noticed as I play. Okay, my mind is catching it, my hands are catching it, my muscles are catching on that's the way it should be done. So, subconsciously, I guess, learning that part of it, which is pretty cool. Good gravy. Here we are this far into the show, and I totally forgot. Over in the bleachers, we have the crowd tonight. They're here. Thanks, guys. Thank you for showing up. Thanks again for packing into the bleachers over there. Air conditioner's busted, but it's nice and cool. So, the windows are open, the attic fan's going. They should be all right. They got tacos. We did chicken tonight. We didn't give them beef. We did chicken tonight. Fresh pico, spare no expense around here. We brought fresh pico in for these guys and their tacos. So, the studio audience, they're happy tonight. They're into the show. And, hey, good deal. That's what we want. Yeah, I don't want the crowd throwing shit at me. So, yeah, it's much nicer when they get their tacos and they're just happy and content. So anyways, they're over there watching, like the rest of you guys out there in TV land, all three of you. And I really appreciate the three of you coming by to check out the show. Thank you so much. Trying to figure out how to kind of spread the word on this one and get some more people interested and maybe liven up these shows a little bit. Get some people in the chat so that I got some questions, something, kind of help us kind of stay on a task or something, because I'll get sidetracked pretty fucking easy. It happens. What are you gonna do? Anyhow, so that that Scorpions tune has been a big thing for me to practice this week. Monty Python. I've been playing the shit out of some Monty Python as well. Always look on the bright side of life. About 50-50 on that one. I think I can play the guitar part and the bass part equally well. I don't know. I'm guessing maybe at like 80% correct, 85% correct at full speed. So I'm, playing them for a week. I'm fairly happy with that in terms, there's one part in that Monty Python tune in the guitar that's, I can sit and play the part. And I can think it in my mind, the numbers, but then I get to it in the tune and I get jumpy while the song's playing, and I can't. I'm having trouble playing it in the song. When I'm just practicing that one phrase, I can hit it pretty much every time, over and over and over again. Get pretty faster and faster and faster. But then I get into playing in the song and I can't do it, man. And sometimes it just drives you crazy. Like, what the hell, man? How come I can, But it's a great tune. I've always been a fan of that tune since the first time I heard it in high school. Monty Python is just pretty good all the way around. Anyhow, and that tune specifically is a good one. So learning how to play it to me is pretty fun, and I dig it. So I'm gonna keep working on that one. Again, bass and guitar on that one. At some point, man, I will get good enough at these tunes to feel like I can record them and try and layer them over so I can put a video up of, I don't know, the dog scratching his ass or something, and me playing the guitar and the bass parts of the song. Maybe that's what I end up doing. I don't know, but I'll come up with something to get that onto. I'll keep practicing, man, and I'll get there and I'll get it on film. I didn't really film anything this week. I don't want to say that I lost my focus. I had some other stuff going on the personal side of the world, several things, and that chewed up time that just, filming didn't really happen. So I will get some stuff on film for you guys. I know I haven't put out any crappy covers for a while, but I kind of needed to learn some new ones and get just good enough to call them crappy covers, not insanely crappy, just regular crappy. And only make so much of a fool of myself, not a complete and total fool. So, that's, yeah. That's how that one's working. So, yeah, that's kind of been a thing, too, is just trying to, I noticed, one thing I am doing that I'm consciously trying to do is make sure, try to this week and in the last several days while I've been playing and trying to practice, just trying to not watch my fretboard hand, trying to trust that it knows where it's going, and not need to watch to ensure that it lands where I want. It's been kind of high on my list of things I'm somewhat subconsciously working on, even though I'm trying to pay attention to not looking at it, and just get better at reading tabs and being able to play. I do think relatively soon I would like to try, I'm going to try a different learning tool. I think I probably will go ahead and pay for another year of Musician when it comes up. I mean, it's 7 or 8 weeks away yet, something like that, before the Musician comes up due again, and I'll probably pay that and do it again. But I think I might try a different app or a different method to kind of boost my skills a little. And granted, I won't deny, I can't say that I have been extraordinarily diligent, in having Musician for a year, almost a year. I've gotten halfway through the bass classes and a little more than a third, not quite half of the way through the guitar classes. Now that's my own fault, obviously, because I got to a point where I just wanted to start playing songs and not necessarily taking the classes. And I was taking lessons, guitar and bass lessons as well. And I guess in my mind that took over for that, and I didn't need to, and I just didn't do it. That is something that I definitely, especially if I pay for a second year, I need to ensure that by the end of the second year I have completed it. In my mind, that's important. I don't know whether it is or not, but even if you never changed to a different app, just actually buckle down, pay attention, and get yourself through the Musician courses and pass them all. Not necessarily saying to get the 3 gold stars on all of them, but getting through them and learning the songs at least well enough to get two silver stars and pass on to the next level. That it is somewhat important to me. I have kind of let it slide. At the same time, my skills have increased. I've gotten better and better. Songs sound better. I can play a lot of stuff now to where it really does sound pretty similar to the recording. I'm not going to say it's nearly as good or that it's a perfection or something like that, but it's definitely pretty similar, close enough for a cover band kind of thing, right? Not to say that I need to be in a cover band or something. Believe me, I would love nothing more than to die in a blaze of rock and roll glory, but I'm not quite ready to be in a band yet, I don't think. It seems like I got a fair bit of time practicing before that's really ever a serious consideration for me. But so yeah, that's some other stuff I've been practicing. Same with the bass, just trying to continue to get my pinky stronger, and get my spread bigger and wider on the bass, and be able to reach 4 full frets. That's tough, man, especially when you're old and your hands are kind of beat up, and don't work as well as they did when you were 10, 15, 20, that's a little bit tough, but that's something I've been practicing and paying attention to as I play, to make sure that I'm one fret, one finger. And as I've talked about before, that crooked second finger of mine wants to always take over, and so when I sit down, it is abundantly hard to use my first finger until I'm down to like 3rd fret, first and second fret. I just can't, when I'm sitting down, it's so hard to bend my wrist to do that, so I end up playing that with my second. But my hands seem to be picking it up in terms of I can flow through a song and my hand just kind of knows you play that with your second finger, you play that one with your first finger, even though they're the same string, a fret apart, something, you know what I mean? My hands seem to have learned where they need to land in order to play the song correctly, whether I'm sitting down or standing up. I can play the same, what I'm getting at, in other words. Just say, in Art Bell's style, in other words. If I'm standing, it's a whole lot easier for me to stick to one finger, one fret correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4. When I'm sitting down, my first finger tends to get shoved out of the way. I'm happy, though, with the fact that my hand and my brain seem to connect those two differences automatically when I play, and I don't have to think about it. It just happens now, which to me is progression and improvement. So I like that part. That's cool. But that's, again, practice that I'm working on. I still have continued to kind of noodle around with the bass and putting something together and trying to make something work. Again, like up in 12, 14, 16, 18 fret on that real high end, and play some interesting stuff. Try to make something work there, again, based off that Aram Bedrosian style. That was a big part of practice this week. That's something I've certainly noticed in the last couple of weeks, is there's a lot more of my time now when I am quote-unquote practicing that is spent without the musician doing anything, without the musician playing any songs or really doing anything other than just sitting there, on the tablet or on the telephone and not doing anything. And me working with just messing around, just kind of noodling around and trying to find things that work. Like I was jacking around with the guitar today and came up with a couple of things. Hey, I don't remember ever hearing that, but I like that sound. It sounded pretty cool. And wanting to remember that and try to build off of that and make something else. And okay, well, if I can get those three in that order, what's next? What's the next? What's 4? What's 5? What's 6? And work your way through it and create a phrase. That to me is really cool. Especially when you're talking about myself, someone who has no musical theory, no musical education whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, so I'm pretty happy with that I'm beginning to be able to find those things. And as Ross sent me a message on one of the videos, reminded me to make sure that your chord progressions match, or at least you're using chords that match. Even if your progressions aren't fantastic, you're at least using sort of the correct family of chords, and trying to figure out how to mix that into some of the melody phrases that I've been able to try to put together. So those things are really keeping me excited. That's part of the thing. Like, that's part of, again, I say it every week, man. Every show, not every week. I say it multiple times a week, but every show I say it. That's the whole point of this channel, to just, I'm learning something. I'm catching on to this, man, and it's keeping me interested. It keeps my mind engaged in it. It keeps me wanting to do it. And it keeps me wanting to get better at it. And it keeps me wanting to sit right here and talk to virtually nobody, but spread the love and the joy and the cool stuff that music does, man. The feeling that you get from it, and the accomplishment. I mean, it's not a stupid, fleeting feeling, right, of a like on my video on TikTok, or a like of my video on YouTube, or anything, my post on Instagram. It's not that fleeting kind of a feeling. It's a feeling of accomplishment and a sense of, accomplishment, and beating, somehow to some degree, beating the odds. It's not like the majority of the planet can pick up an instrument and play it. And if you can sit down and get yourself to do it and start to feel the good stuff and see the good things, it just makes you want to do more of it. And, you find out what a whole lot of people already knew. It's just so hard to not want to come and sit here and try to convince other people that this is what you need to try, man. I mean, it can help one's life in a myriad of ways. And that's the whole point of the channel. That is the reason that I do these shows. That's the reason that I keep trying. That's the reason that I keep talking and asking you guys to spread this out to anybody you know that might be interested in music in the least. Let them see the show, man. Let them come and join this little community that I'd like to build here on Rumble. I'd like Rumble to kind of be our hub where everybody goes to Rumble and we kind of give up on some of these other places. At least in terms of the longer form, 30, 40 minute, hour long shows. I'd really like for these to be, kind of centered around Rumble. And Rumble kind of is my featured platform. They are the ones I use their streaming services to get out. They obviously don't sponsor me or anything at all like that. There is no connection between Rumble and I. I prefer their stuff. I like their stuff. I know in the beginning it was bumpy. I've worked all those things out. I would like to kind of focus the channel on Rumble and be a community where we can come together and folks can, again, talk about what are you listening to this week, man. Speaking of, what am I listening to? I came across this Irish cat this week. I don't remember his name. I'm gonna find his name right now, and I'm gonna tell you. The guy has 2 songs up on YouTube, on Spotify right now. They're both great. He's kind of an Irish type of cat. Mike Payton, Peyton. Mike Payton. Shout out to Mike Payton, Peyton. You can find him on Spotify. Couple of great tunes, Never Drinking Again and The Wild Rover. Great tunes, man. Check them out. That's the new stuff that I found this week. That again kind of perks your interest in music up, because here's a guy that I came across on TikTok who says, hey, check out my song. It was in the background of a video. It was a great tune. I wanted to hear it. So I'm thrilled to have any help at all to support a new musician who's trying to put stuff together. And that's, I love nothing more than to help somebody like that out. And that, gang, is the whole point of this channel, so that we have a place to go where we can all come together and we can talk about learning the music. People out there, those of you out there that have played most of your lives and you know what you're doing, come by, man. Help us out. Drop some advice, drop some knowledge in the comments, man. Get in on the show. Let us know. Tell us what your experiences are. Tell us how to get around some of these hurdles. What are the countless YouTube videos and the countless videos of these guitar tricks and memorize the fretboard in a day and all that? Is any of that real? Is it all bullshit? Well, those of you guys that have been playing for 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, come by and let us know. Help us out, because that would be fantastic. That is the community that we try to create here at High Desert Music Channel, a place where everybody can come together and center around music and build a real honest-to-God community where maybe some of you guys are in the same part of the country and we get together sometime, go camping and play some music together, meet up in whatever, in your own cities. If we get enough viewers and there's pockets of you in these towns, maybe you get together in whatever city you're in and play some music with new people, and make real honest-to-God connections with other human beings. And even if we just do that through the camera and through the computer and through our chats, we're still making connections. We're still real human beings dealing directly with each other, making connections over something as fabulous and amazing as music. And that's the point of the channel, So there's that tirade that I do every single episode. Don't forget that that's going to come at you every episode. I'm probably going to throw that one out until we really start to spread this channel out and get folks watching and folks involved. And it doesn't matter what your reason is to want to play. I don't think. I mean, for the most part, right? I mean, if you're like me and you're realizing that the end's a whole lot closer than it used to be, man, and decades just vanish. But I still want to learn how to play. I still want to get some enjoyment out of it until I just absolutely can't, till my hands don't work anymore. And at least have some portion of my life where I could say I was a musician. So, you know, there are other folks like me out there, and that's who we want to bring together. We want those people here, and we want those people to talk about making music and get them involved. And learn more. Just constantly learn more. And it doesn't matter why. If you want to get up and join a band and play in bars, you know, and be the gray-haired rocker in your town, fucking A, man, right on. Come on, come down, watch the show, help us out. We'll try to help you get there, you know, and I'm certain that if you're coming to watch, you'll help us try to get whatever our goal is in terms of music. You know, maybe your biggest goal is to know 4 chords so you can stand in front of your 3rd grade class and play some kooky tunes that are going to make them learn something. The names of the 50 states, whatever it is, man. Come by. Somebody here. That's what we want to do here. We want those people to show up and spread that joy and that love that this is. I took my time to learn this one song on the guitar simply so I could sing it to my 3rd grade class. That's fantastic. If there's somebody out there that's got that story, I want to hear it. You know, that's what we're about here. And yeah, making human connections with one another, real honest to God connections with people over music, and bonding and creating community over music, and growing together with music, growing individually with music, growing together with music. So yeah, there's, again, I extended that a few more minutes, but there's my thing on the reason for the channel. So yeah, you know, some of you guys out there watching, clip that part, send it out. I don't really know how to do that. Clip that part, make it go viral. Bring them here to watch this channel and learn some music, man. I have so much fun playing music, and, you know, as I've said before, I live on one of those streets that's kind of busy. The walking trail is real close, and I live in vacation land, and most of the folks that live here realize that you live in vacation land so that you can constantly be outside riding your bicycle, go skiing, snowboarding, blah, 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 blah. River, you know, motorcycle, four-wheeler, side-by-side, whatever, out in the desert, all that shit. That's why people are here. And so I live right on the walking path, and, you know, it's pretty cool and pretty fun to see folks smile and stop and wave and say good morning to you when you're playing music on the front porch. You know, I got a little patio, and I just sit there and play some music in the mornings, drink some coffee, smoke cigarettes, play music. And, you know, so a couple of people have asked for specific tunes. Once I could do it, once I had to say, no, I don't know how to play that, man. But you know, I'm not the only one getting enjoyment from it. I'm sure some of my neighbors aren't as thrilled as others at listening to my crappy guitar playing every day, or most every day on the porch, and my crappy bass playing. And I'm sure some people don't want to hear one on a bass over and over and over again. There's probably people that don't want to hear Wind to Change 3 times in a row on a guitar, you know, and miss the same spot all 3 times. But, you know, there are folks that cruise by, and you can see that they get a smile on their face in the middle of their walk, and they, you know, you get that quaint Americana feeling, and people dig it. And right on, man. If that's my contribution to society through music, so be it. Making a few people smile as they cruise by in front of my house on a Saturday morning or a Monday morning, whatever. You know, that's It's just awesome, and I just can't get enough. So let me go back to some practice stuff. I can't say I've made leaps and bounds again with the MIDI. It's kind of hitting another peak. I don't know, Mesa, let's say, realistically, because I'm just kind of, I need to take Ross's advice. I need to find a nice written, so I can keep an eye on it, not on a computer set of piano chords. Maybe I put it on one of my tablets, but know some piano chords. I have digged. How about that? Now there is some professional, well-spoken English for you. Digged. I have digged. I have managed to dig a little bit into this MPK Mini in terms of changing things. So that was kind of some time spent this week because I screwed it up a couple of times. Don't let me fool you, boy. I thought that I was going to be more correct with sensitivity and velocity of the keys, and it just really screwed shit up. And I wasn't smart enough to have taken a damn picture to know where the number was, and I did that to myself twice like a moron. Fucking stoners, fucking stoners. And but I did learn how to reset it, and how to get different programs in there. And so now I had a little bit of learning this week on the hardware of the APK of the Akai MPK Mini Mark III. So anyway, I still need to learn musical theory a little bit to learn how to put something together that I like, but I still am using some sequences that are already put together and trying to remove some things and add some things. I don't see anything in that software that says there's a royalty due on these, but I don't know how much I would need to change, like, their pre-made sequence. I mean, they gave me the software with that sequence in it, which to me means I should be able to use it royalty-free, but I don't know. So I do what I can to change their stuff. I've also started to mess around with taking their sequences that they've got for, let's say, like an acoustic 80s style kick drum set, right? Just your standard, like, 8-piece drum set or whatever. I don't know what normal, I don't know. Are they like chicken nuggets, like 9-piece and 20-piece? I don't know, man. Not like the whole Neil Peart thing, right? But like it's just a standard kind of drum set, Take a beat that was made from that and swap it with the plug-in to like a tube synth or an 808 bass line or something like that. So I've started to kind of do that too, to widen what's available to me, and I have still continued to look into new software, and I really think once personal situations change a little, and things are a little easier, I probably will just flat step up to a better computer. I don't know if I would stick to Akai yet, or if I'm going to go to maybe FL Studio or something like that. But buy a bigger, better MIDI keyboard. Try to kind of increase my abilities there, and step up there. But until then, I'm going to keep using this, and I'm going to keep trying to change. And like I said, I'm going to keep using their sequences and just kind of change them up some. And add my own stuff in there. And, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, but I will get something put down, something recorded, to try and get some opening music and some closing music for the show. That's on my list of stuff that I really would like to do, and I'll get there, man. It's, shit. Sometimes, depression's a bitch, and sometimes it's tough to work through that and just keep on moving. And sometimes the world seems a little bleak, but and it does make it difficult to keep walking right through. So it's been a couple of weeks like that, and that's obviously having an impact on my practice and on my play and on my progress in all kinds of things. But that's again, I can only I can only be wildly thankful that at least this time through, because it's an ongoing thing, and anybody out there who consistently deals with that, with swimming through some breed of depression, some level of it, you know what it is, man. It's consistent and it's constant. Some days it's consistently and constantly worse. And but you know what? At least this time through one of those nasty spots, one of those heavy bouts of it, I have music, and I have this. I have the good fucking Christ. Jeez Louise, there's like 4 people watching that aren't me. This is a big night. 4, maybe 5 people that aren't me watching the show. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming to check out the show. You know, but where I was going, I have the channel, I have the videos, I have the music now, and that, you know, tends to soften and ease the bleakness, the burden of consistently and constantly swimming through depression. I'm not, you know, I'm pills and shit like that aren't happening. Not doing it. Right or wrong, my opinion is a therapist's job is not to fix you. A therapist's job is to keep you coming back. So I'm probably not going to do that. If a therapist fixed you, he would go the fuck out of business. So, point being, it's the music, man. It's the music. It's the music. And that's why I do the channel. That's why I'm here. I want other people to catch on to the amazingly fantastic stuff that music offers. And, you know, there's just so much cool stuff that one can glean from music that just flows right into your life. It's so hard to explain how it just fills all these little nooks and crannies and spots that you didn't know were missing something. And it does create a sense of fulfillment, a sense of accomplishment, and desire to do better, more. You know, I really think that it's learning how to play and trying to get better, and investing your time in music and the people that play music and talking and just wrapping your world in music. I just don't understand. I can't see that not being a good thing for people, especially in the world that we're in, man. It's not nice out there. It's not friendly in a lot of ways for a lot of people, no matter what you believe and what you think. It's just not really fucking friendly anymore, man. And I think, personally, one of the ways around that, one of the ways that as a country, as a group, as a whole, you come back together is music. Because I don't care what you think when you're done playing the song. I don't care what you think when we're done talking about music. And you know, the reality is, if we can have a conversation about music, why can't we have conversations about other things? And so maybe that's where we need to start as a group. Talk about something that is hard, is hard to really fight about and get so pissed off about and have so much vitriol and disdain for one another. So maybe we talk more about music and less about some of the other stuff, and then we can ease back into the other things. But, you know, again, that's it, dude. Music is the thing. You know, and I've said this before, all this playing and practicing via musician has made me forget the words to so many songs, and I think about songs now all day long. In which fret am I going to, you know, open 1 3 2, open 1 2 3, you know, 5 7 8. So it can totally change your outlook. Music can add so much to your life and make you, and take away the crap and the burdens and the shit that you don't want. And if it doesn't take it away, it's a damn good mask for an hour or two, and it's a far better cover up and mask than a pill or a therapist or something like that. because you control it. You have the agency to learn for yourself, to improve yourself. And just the learning of it, just the joy, the accomplishment, the fulfillment from learning something is awesome. Is sometimes unimaginable. It's just amazing. I can't get enough time with my guitars. And I mean, if you guys you guys that watched the show before know, I have, in the last few months, trying to kind of work out what I'm going to do with my days, and what I'm really going to do for working and stuff. I have sold off a huge amount of my stuff. I've gone from 32 instruments and 13 amplifiers to 6 and 2. And it's painful. It sucks. Because, a lot of those were like my friends. I had spent time with them. I knew them. Each one of them had a song or two that was best played on that instrument. So, that kind of sucks. But again, it's being able to play the music and knowing that I can at least keep myself into one guitar, one bass, and not go down to nothing. I'm never going to do that again. And that no one can take this skill from me. And even if I did have to give away each and every guitar, sell each and every guitar and each and every bass I had, I would still be able to walk into a guitar store and play a guitar for an hour if I wanted to. And have that ability to create music and create joy for myself. And create fulfillment for myself. Create knowledge for myself. That's the biggest thing that music can do for you. It will give you your own agency to expand your own mind and learn things that you never thought you were going to learn. Because as I've talked about, on the Sunday show, the meaning of a song changes when you go from listening to it to learning how to play it. And then you add 3 decades on top of that. And you find out something when you learn to play a song that you've known your whole life. And it's just different when you learn how to play it and you look back on a life improperly lived. Because I can certainly say that. If there's a scale of improper living, I'm high on it. Getting it wrong, boy, that's me. And I tell you what, and that's another point to make, just on music and the beauty of music and the amazing stuff that music can do. I have made every bad choice and wrong decision a guy could make, for 30 plus years of being an adult. And lots of bad choices, lots of bad decisions, lots of bad ideas. Lots of time spent where, that little angel that sits on one shoulder, yeah, that one has been gone for 2 or 3 days. Because there was certainly no brakes being put on that stupid party train. And the little devil that was sitting on the other shoulder, if that old boy's looking at you and saying, hey, you might not want to do that, dude. It's a bad idea. I've probably said yes to it. I'm a professional at getting stuff wrong and making bad choices. And music is undeniably one of the very best choices I've ever made. Without a doubt, in the top 3 to 4 choices of my entire life. Just deciding one day, I'm going to pick up a guitar, I'm going to play it. Because Angus is a crazy gray-haired old man, and look at him duck walk across that stage and still play that guitar at 67, 68 years old. And you haven't even learned yet. I will never be more thankful for making that decision. Whatever it was, whomever it was that was the impetus for what made me think it, whatever it was. whatever inspired Angus, ultimately, I guess, whatever inspired Angus to play guitar 57 years ago, 80 years ago, whatever, I'll never be more thankful. I will never stop thinking that's one of the best decisions I ever made. And that's why we're here. I want to spread that around to everybody else. I want other people to come in, get in the chats, and tell me what they're learning and what they're struggling with learning, and talk about playing music, man. I mean, eventually I think we'll get some viewers here, I hope, and we can zero in on how these shows are going to run. But, for now it's just going to be me talking about music and all that craziness, I lost, for those of you that have played for a while, like, I finally lost, like, that outside layer of my calluses on my fingertips, like, dried out from, I guess, from playing those copper strings all the time, maybe on the acoustics, or maybe it's just, after a year of doing it, like, that little spot on all three, I have the calluses on 3 of my fingers, and they just all in the last couple of weeks kind of dried out and flaked off. That's the first time I've seen that happen. But it makes me feel like I'm turning into, perhaps one day I'll be able to call myself a musician. Perhaps one day I will be able to actually, play music for people and make something other than crappy covers to put up on these on the Rumble and the YouTube channel and on the TikTok channel. Maybe my covers won't be crappy forever. But I see that. I see it coming, and that's the beauty, man. That's the joy of the music. That's why I am willing to give up what I'm willing to give up. That's why I've tried to figure out how to stay, close to home and do a different kind of job that I've been doing, which is proving to be amazingly difficult. And, sadly, on that note, I have started taking interviews again for jobs in Aspen, which would be, I don't want to say detrimental to the channel, but it would make the channel much more difficult. Going back to work in Aspen means leaving my house at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting home at 8:30. It's a 300-mile a day round trip. It's Aspen. Working in Aspen comes with giant paychecks, and so there is that part, and it is kind of somewhat sort of worth it. You guys that have been watching the channel for a while, I've been kind of trying to find just part-time Joe jobs and can't even get one of those. You're too old, too much experience, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's on the list of stuff that's being looked into, and that'll change the channel. That'll certainly have a huge impact on my playing time, my practice, my being able to move forward. On the other hand, it may focus it too and turn Saturdays and Sundays into purely music days, where it's 4, 5, 6 hours on Saturday, 4, 5, 6 hours on Sunday, just playing music, and trying to get a week's worth in 2 days, maybe, and trying to get stuff recorded for you guys and trying to get the show up. We'll see how it goes. But again, it's the music that's helped me through that. It's the music that's takes away the sting and keeps me focused on what I want to do, because ultimately that's what I would like to do, is to create a community where we can all kind of come together again and just talk about music and be involved in music and boost each other up around music, and grow as human beings, as people, as Americans around music, and just create a different focus for everybody to decompress, forget all of that other crazy shit that's going on. And believe me, I have plenty to say about it. But forget about that. Come to this channel to not deal with that. That's the ultimate goal. And have a place where people just hang out and we play music, man. And I get better at music, and maybe I'll, we'll start putting some musical stuff in the shows, and I get a second camera and some better spot, maybe a bigger, better studio space. And we can start doing better, real guitar and amplifier reviews, for beginners. Because I still think that's a pretty good idea to go through gear, and say this is good beginner gear, this is way beyond beginner gear. But with one camera and one guy, it's hard to do, and I don't know how to edit. There's a huge part of me that says I don't really think I ever want to edit anything. Editing can be done, obviously, in a pretty deceptive manner, and I would pretty much just as soon give you guys the unvarnished shit. Here it is. Nobody edits your daily life. Why do I need to edit a show talking about music? So that's all stuff that eventually I'd like to get to, but I want to create that community. And right now I'm looking at the numbers, and it's insane. 8 people. And I know that 2 or 3 of those are me. But that still means there's a lot of you guys out there watching tonight. And 5 or 6 people coming by the channel and checking out the show is huge to me. Huge. It means a lot. Truly, truly means a lot. We're getting a little long tonight for just talking about nothing. But that's it, man. That's what I have really figured out in the last year about music. I just don't want to stop talking about it. It's hard to wipe a smile off my face when I'm talking about it, when I'm thinking about it, when I'm playing it. And I want to spread that to everybody else. I want everybody else to get some of that crazy goodness from it. So I'm gonna shut her down. I've been on for an hour on your sucked up an hour of your Tuesday night here. And I haven't really talked about anything. Just kind of jabbering away like a monkey in a tree, as Forrest would say. So you know what, guys? I thank you so very much for coming by and checking us out here at High Desert Music Channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share. All that stuff is hugely, hugely, hugely helpful for us. We are on Rumble. We are on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. All at High Desert Music Channel. We got a Buy Me Coffee. It's in the description. If you're if you're inclined, awesome. More importantly, pass the show around, man. Spread this show out to anybody you know that's interested in music. Anybody you know that wants to learn how to music, that's waffling on whether or not they should pick up that guitar and play it. Anybody that's got that guitar in the closet that's been there for 15 years and hasn't played it, lead them to the show. Let them check it out. Maybe it's going to make them want to do it. Anybody you can think of that's interested in music to any degree whatsoever, send them the show. Let's get them involved. Let's get a place to come where we can all talk about music, where we can all be happy and joyful and learn stuff together and improve ourselves together, and thereby improve the whole world. Yeah. They made a song about buying a Coke one time, man, and the whole world sang it. So I think we can do, a couple thousand people that want to get together and talk about music a couple times a week. So anyways, I thank you guys so much for coming to check us out here. High Desert Music Channel. We do a live show. Right now we're doing Tuesday night, Friday night, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. The Sunday morning show is always life and music. It is a more focused show. I try to keep that one to about a half hour, but it is a little more focused. Tuesdays and Fridays we just kind of jabber about music, man. So come on by, pass the show on to somebody that you know. Like, comment, share, subscribe at High Desert Music Channel. I'm on Rumble, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. Come by, watch our videos. I got something up on all of those platforms. Come by, check us out. head to Rumble, man. Get yourself get the Rumble app downloaded. Get going with Rumble. I think Rumble's probably going to be, hopefully, one of the new directions that some of this stuff goes. They're a good bunch of guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. As is standard new policy, I'm going to walk away and let you guys check out the blank screen behind me for a while, just to ensure that the end of my videos don't get cut off. Ran into that. So, for the 5 or 6 of you, 4 or 5 of you guys that are out there watching tonight right now, I sincerely, truly appreciate you coming by. It means a whole lot to me. It is hard to stay motivated to continue to do a show for an hour, 2 or 3 days a week that one or two people watch. So it's great to have you guys there. I really do appreciate you coming by. Spread the show around. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will be back Friday night, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, for some more fuckery, and we'll talk music and jack around. So have a good evening, guys. I really appreciate you coming by. Like, comment, share, subscribe. High Desert Music Channel. See ya.